Good morning, students. In today's video, we are going to cover important topics. That is the Airy's theory. Okay, so views on isostasy. In that, there are different theories comes in, and in that, we will cover this first theory by Airy's. So the basic idea of this particular theory is mountains are not just heavy masses sitting on the surface, they have deep roots of lighter material beneath them. This is similar to an iceberg where a large part stays underwater. So what he tells that mountains are not just heavy masses sitting on the surface, but also they have the deep roots. So like this is our crust, this is the mountains. So these mountains are not only this tall above the surface, but they also have the deep roots. Okay, so they have the deep roots, and these deep roots are made up of lighter material. And this is similar to the icebergs. Okay, we see that the icebergs are very small above the surface but very deep beneath the land, or you can say the beneath the ice sheets. Floating concept. So earth crust light material called cl floats on a denser layer called sima. Thick crust deep root, and thin crust shallow root. Okay, so thick crust deeper root and the thin crust shallow root means if the like mountains are thicker above the crust, they have deeper roots, but if they are thin above the crust, they have shallow roots. Okay, now here's interesting diagrams and a table explaining these diagrams. So I will cover this later. Firstly, let's come to this particular topic, that is balance of weight. So Airy said all land blocks have the same density but their thickness varies. So their thickness varies but they have same density. That what he says, and it is very important. So a tall mountain must have a thick crust plus deep root to balance its weight. So that means a tall mountain have thick crust. Okay, thick crust but plus deep root to balance it weight. A plateau or plain has a thinner crust and smaller root. So plateau or plain, it's not very much tall. Okay, they are not tall at all, so they have thinner roots, or you can say smaller roots beneath the surface. So that is uh, the balance of weight according to Airy's theory. Why mountains don't sink? So the deeper root provides more buoyancy. This buoyancy balance the extra weight of tall mountains, isostatic balance. So the why mountains don't sink, because they have the deep roots, and because of the deep roots they have more buoyancy. Buoyancy means upward force. So this upward force is more, that's why the mountains don't sink. And the numerical idea given in Airy's theory is 1 by 9 ratio. So what does it tell? For every one part above the surface, 9 parts of the root are below the crust. So if like this much is above the surface, this much will be below the surface. Okay, Example, if a mountain is 1 kilometer tall, its root may be 9 kilometer deep, theoretical. So Himalayas example, so Himalayas have very deep roots because they are very tall, their crust is very thick, and large parts is submerged in the dense layer. Uniform density rule. So Airy in assumed all crust blocks have the same density, only thickness varies. So what Airy assumed that all crust blocks have the same density, okay, only their thickness varies. So that what he believed. That is what the main idea behind his theory, and um, this is very important. Meaning mountains, plateaus, plains, they have same density but different crust thickness. So diagram meaning left is spread theory, same mass but different density, and not Airy's idea. Right, means this is the diagram. I will explain it later, okay, when we will come back to the diagram. So right now let's move on. So what does the like the criticism he received Airy received basically Airy's idea of very deep roots for tall mountains in unrealistic. What criticism he received, that the deep roots concept 1 by 9 ratio is very unrealistic. Temperature increases with depth. As we know that when we go deep into the earth's interior, the temperature increases with the depth. As we go more deeper, uh, the temperature also increases, like a temperature increases like 1 degree celsius every 32 meters, something like that. So roots would melt at very high temperature. So what happens is the roots, these deep roots, like the mountain roots or anyone like roots, they will melt at such depth. So for example, Himalayas root cannot extend 79 kilometer deep as Airy calculated. So like Himalayas route cannot extend this much distance, like 79 kilometers. So Himalayas route cannot extend this beyond this 80 kilometer, as the deep as Airy calculated. So Airy calculated and find out that Himalayas route cannot extend 80 kilometers, because below that, if you go, the roots started to melt because the temperature rises significantly. So that's what the criticism he received for his theory. So let's go back to the diagrams. So here are the two diagrams. Firstly, look at this diagram. So what does it say is that this is like you can say asthenosphere. Asthenosphere is fluid like made up of soft material, and above that we have lithosphere. So this you can say that mm, if the more height is above the lithosphere, the more denser it will be below in the asthenosphere. Okay, as you can see, and this is the mountain, because mountains are the highest, so they have the deepest roots, and these are like plateaus or plains, etc. So they are not much deeper above the surface, so means that they are not much taller above the surface, that's why they are not deeper below the surface. Sorry. So and this is the diagram. So in this particular diagram, these different color shows that they have different densities, and this equal line shows that they have same mass. Okay, and here it's I think same mass and different same density but their thickness. Okay, whatever. And in this particular diagram we can see the same color, that means same densities. Okay, and the you can see that they are not equal below the surface, so here we can say different masses. So basically these these colors show the masses. No, I think densities. These colors shows the densities. Let me correct it. These colors shows the densities, and these like height below the surface, this shows the masses. So the homework for today is to make an image in your mind explaining this concept. Okay, and it will be easier for you to retain it longer. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.